We also have a boarding kennel right on the other side of that door, so I apologize if it's a little loud. A lot of dogs boarding with us. And hopefully it doesn't upset her too much. If sometimes if she's like really edgy, I'll go ahead and put my leg over top of her. Not that I'm pinning her down, but just to let her know it's okay that we're just doing our stretching, that it's important how let you do that. Okay, good girl.
You're doing good.
So we'll do the same thing back here. Okay, and obviously we're going to focus a little bit more on our knee. We're going to start here at the bottom of that leg at that angle, work our way up. Our hamstrings, over the front of that knee, over that patella, the kneecap, and up the quadriceps. You want to see what's going on, don't you? Okay, and then up over that hip, the gluteal muscles here, and same thing up the spine. Okay. Good job, it's okay. Now I would expect her to be a little bit more protective of it. It's okay, honey.
You're doing good.
Yeah, you're doing very good. That's it. That's it.
I don't think that's it.
It could be a hair she's picking up from other areas. I had a husky in here earlier today. I was doing massages. What's that?
She likes hard bones
To chew on?
to chew on. So that's usually when she lays down.
Okay.
So we may need
Is that her little life jacket?
Maybe, yeah, that may work much better. Yeah, this is a life jacket.
How cute.
Let's turn you around. And it basically, we don't need, I think, in the aspect of kind of getting a hold of her and keeping her position. And that's where I like the harnesses or the life jackets. And something like this we can really utilize when we're working on placement and weight shifting, three-leg standing, balancing exercises, very low impact type muscle work exercises. Sometimes having a control of her helps out. So if you have a chest harness or even a life jacket works really well too. And what we want is we want that good leg, that right leg, right underneath her hip. So not underneath, the center of her. We want it out underneath her hip here. Okay? And then we want to work also on keeping our left leg in the correct position. Okay, it needs to be. Now that's a good sit. Okay, and that's what we want to work on. I think the best way to kind of work on that sit is to keep that right leg in the correct position. Okay, and then, ask her to sit. Work on those commands. Luna, sit. Okay. And it's hard for her to keep that right leg in position and do the sit. So you have to find that reward or that motivation factor, having some treats in your hand or having that toy and really letting her know she's doing a good job when she does it correctly. Oh my goodness. Yes, you are so excited when people come, huh? It's funny because when she's jumping up and not paying attention when there's people here, she's using the leg. But when you ask her to do it, when you take away a leg and ask her to actually stand there and use that leg, she doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
So I think, you guys know her certainly better than everybody else. You can kind of tell that discomfort from her bored or her wanting to do something else. I think when you have a chance to work on some of these things like sit stands or three-leg stand, you have to really find that motivation factor to let her do that and push off this leg. If you want to go ahead and ask her for her right front, okay, and what you want to do is you want to kind of hold her paw at the elbow here. So she's not really leaning against you. And what you can see is she's putting all that weight back here on her. Goodness, nope. Good girl, yes, you can do it. Can you stand?
Come on, give me your paw.
Paw?
Yeah.
Good girl, that's a good job, huh, Luna?
Yeah, girl.
Now that's going to shift her weight to the opposite leg. Okay, so let's ask her for her right front here.
Give me your paw.
Okay.
Come on.
Good girl, there you go. Huh? Good job. And once she starts to get comfortable with that, then the person in the back really wants to focus on that placement, and making sure that this leg's underneath her. Good girl. You are so excited in here from everybody. It's hard to kind of show you exactly what I want her to do, but it's because she's so excited. So we're going to kind of go over it, and we're going to take our time and make sure that we at least kind of have the understanding of the basics, which is positioning, and then getting that muscle to fire, that weight shifting. Okay? And what I'll do is not only will I bring her weight front to back, but I'll bring it side to side. I'll shift it back over to this left side. And she's gonna step, she's gonna lean, she's gonna try and cheat. And that's okay to some degree, but I think when she's using it, that's when we have to praise her. That's when we have to say, "Good girl, you're using your leg." Yes, you are. Can I see this leg? Can I see this one? Good job.
Now, are you just wiggling the top of her?
Yeah, just kind of bringing her weight back. It's okay, I got you. Yeah, good girl. Oh my goodness, you have so much energy. She's not going to hurt herself.
Yeah.
And then to get her comfortable with it. Good. Okay. Good girl. There we go. So if I'm over her shoulders here, I can do a nice little compression bounce here to really get her relaxed. Okay. Once she starts to feel secure, like her body weight supported by the ball, she should accept it. You know, it should be pretty comfortable for her. Most of the young dogs really enjoy the exercise ball, and I think you can make it a nice little activity for them. It almost becomes a game. Good girl. There you go. So what I'll do is I'll get him up on here, and I'll do this light bouncing until she gets comfortable with the ball. Once she's comfortable with the ball, then I can ask her to really exercise and push off and sidestep and step back and catch herself and all these other exercises. But until she's comfortable, you know, she's going to kind of freak out. And if she freaks out, she could hurt herself. She could fall off the ball. So I want her on kind of my terms on the ball. If she starts to kind of freak out, I'm going to get her back in this position and get her relaxed just with some light bouncing. It's okay. No jumping up on the ball. Yeah, no, good girl. Good job. That's a girl. That's a good girl. There we go. Okay, and then, you know, there are some really nice, like I said, some nice ways to do weight shifting, some nice ways to get her to really push herself with the treat or with the cookie, but the first step is to get her comfortable in the ball. And you see, it doesn't bother her being on here. It's just a nervous thing. She's not sure what we're asking her to do. Good girl. Yeah. And what you want to do with the walk is turn that 5-10 minute walk into an exercise. Okay, so instead of stopping and sniffing or kind of just wandering, we're going to look for little inclines, little hills. Have her doing circles, where she's doing a counterclockwise circle, she's pivoting with that left leg, especially with a little incline or a little hill. If there's a hill in front of us, we'll get her all the way on the right and get her going to the left, where that left leg is kind of the low point. So she's got to push off more with that left leg going up that hill at an angle. Water level up to different areas for different weight bearings, you know, so we can keep her different buoyancies. We can also turn her around and have her facing this way and go uphill. I use a lot of weights, wrist weights, ankle weights, or bands, physio bands as resistance. But it really depends on how comfortable she gets as well in here. Good job. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, she's trying to swim.
That's a girl.
Good girl.
You're swimming. No, we're going
There
to
you
go for a
go.
walk. That's a
Good girl,
You're doing
Luna.
good.
See, they always are scared at first. This is not abnormal. But once they really realize how good it feels, I think they definitely enjoy it. Most of my dogs love coming in the water tank. And if we can make it fun for her, so she doesn't think of it as torture, I think she'll enjoy it too. Good girl. Yes, you're doing very well. Good thoughts. Huh? Is that good? Is that good, girl? Yeah.
So cute, your toes all spread out. They're like little duck feet.
Let me see those legs.
Scuba Luna.
Let me see those legs. So you can see the placement when she's certainly not totally buoyant, but she's about maybe 75, 80%.
Oh yeah, it's one at a time, so she has to put weight on that leg.
Yeah, and it's also much more even. left leg, the right leg is kind of where it needs to be instead of straight underneath her.
That is so cool.
A lot of times the water tank can really help retrain that normal gait.
So that's something that she wouldn't get in normal walking. I mean, the one at
Sometimes
a
the
time.
treadmill you'll get it because they're so nervous, but I think more often than not the water therapy has a lot to do with it with the buoyancy. And then there's the resistance of the water. Walking through the water is certainly tougher, so we get some muscle work.
That is so cool.
Maybe a little faster, huh? The other nice thing about treadmills is you can start to really retrain that correct gait with a run. And with the jog and a trot and all those other things, so you don't get that hop stepping that we were seeing on the video.
Yeah.
She kind of has learned it. Good girl, huh, Luna? Yeah.
This is gonna work on some of your energy.
2.5 minutes. You're halfway done. Normally I'll do 5 minutes. That's maybe not so much at first, but she certainly has a lot of energy. She's very, very well conditioned otherwise. So it's one of those where you really have to see that fatiguing that leg. How sore, how uncomfortable is she in that leg?
I mean, she was in good shape before that. We used to take her on hour, 2 hour long walks and hikes and stuff like that. So.
I'm sure her. Okay. All right, sweetheart. How's that feel? How's that feel? Are you nervous? I know. Good job. Be careful. Be careful, crazy. Hit by cars, especially when there's fractures and a lot of other things like that, can be a little bit tough. A lot of times we'll need 24-hour care, at least at first. So we'll usually refer to Quakertown or Valley Central. Valley Central's great. I used to work there, the emergency center.